destroy us, all these will be vulnerable. And in my last video, I also spoke about Diego Garcia, which is the American biggest logistic hub to support all these operations. Uh, they also will do an escalation. And he says that I will blow up the civil infrastructure. Of course, that is a war crime. And he says that I'll blow up the power stations in Iran. Now, Iran is a huge country, and the power stations are decentralized, but he's threatened to blow them up. And then he wants to blow up the desalination plant also. And the Iranians have said that whatever destructions the Americans do on their soil, they will do likewise on the GCC nations, because that is where the American bases and assets are there. But I'm certain in my assessment that the Iranians will be much more careful in what they do on the GCC countries, because they understand the geography, they have to live there. The Americans will go back, so they'll be very careful in what they do. They will do, certainly what they'll do is that the American assets, the technology companies, they will be destroyed. But can be done by the Americans, well, that possibility is not there at all. I don't see that happening. Because I won't go in the details. This theater is neither Vietnam nor Afghanistan, and the world today is multipolar. And if the Americans, let's say in 6 months' time, want to plan that, please remember that the Iranians, they are operating from their own battlefield. For the outsiders, it's a new battlefield they are coming to. Then the Americans have to bring their logistics from 6,000 kilometers away, and perhaps in 6 months' time, the situation on the ground will change, that the GCC countries may not even allow the Americans the staging areas for their forces which come in the theater. So there are no options, really, military options, when you look at all this for the Americans, for President Trump. The only option for President Trump is not an escalation, but to accept Iran as a dominant power in West Asia, accept that sovereign, the world is multipolar, Iran is a sovereign country, and therefore serious negotiations with Iran is the only way out, and games will not work with Iran. Thank you so much. In other words, the civil infrastructure, and I'll make West Asia help. Now, it doesn't matter what president says. And the third is that there are already American senators and very honest analysts from America who are saying that Trump has lost his mental balance. Given all this, two great powers, China and Russia, now they are open. We're going to block all of your foreign banks, the SWIFT bank clearing border interbank payment system that charges much less for processing transactions than SWIFT. So now countries have an alternative to using the SWIFT system. Well, this is a model for what they can do to cope with the financial sanctions that Trump is imposing. If Trump is going to weaponize the dollar system and the international financial system in the way that he tried to weaponize the SWIFT system that was ostensibly run out of Belgium, well, then the alternative is to create an independent but parallel system for all of this. And I guess you could say that, well, the United States...
My flashlight. I got a small little pink flashlight that blows blue light. Shows blue light. This one does too. I like these special ones.
Destroy your economy, your financial system that is needed to operate your economy if you don't isolate Iran and isolate China in the way that we've said. Well, all they can do is call his bluff. And doing in one point F during trade for our energy trade with Russia, Iran, and other friendly countries away from the U.S. But most of all, and this is a point that's been made by environmentalists in the last week. We can move away from oil and gas and carbon